Sheriff David Clarke with us because, Sheriff, you think about it, we've got this incident. We've had a week ago the shootings in Minnesota at a Minnesota mall before that shooter was taken out, the New York area-related attacks, and, of course, the ongoing disturbances in Charlotte. None directly linked. I want to stress that, but you got a lot of scared Americans right now. What do you tell them?
Well, here's what I tell them. Be prepared to defend yourself. Look, the police can't be everywhere. We're not omnipresent in America. That's not really what we want. We're not a police state. However, if you look at what happened in Minneapolis, in the mall in Minnesota, there was an off-duty law enforcement officer there who was armed that was able to take quick action and limit. Look, you're not going to limit these things, but you can limit the carnage. Every one of these places are chosen for one reason, Neil, and it's because they are gun-free zones, and these perpetrators, these criminals, these terrorists know that they'll be able to shed a lot of blood before the situation is stopped. So it's going to be high time in America now for people to wake up, get out of this naive view that, you know, the police will be able to protect everybody all the time, and realize you play a role. I run PSA's, personal safety ads, here in Milwaukee County, reminding citizens they are the front line in their security. We're really the backup. We come after, most of the time, after these things happen. You look at that situation in Georgia that went viral where three armed men broke into somebody's house, and was a woman who defended herself, shot and killed one of these bastards, and the other two fled. So, you know, this is the world we live in now. You're right, they're scared, but being scared is not enough. I say, you know, you can hide under the bed, you can do all this other stuff, but I say, but you can fight back. And the more these individuals realize, these perpetrators, that somebody's going to quickly be able to counter their nonsense, I think you'll see less of it. And if nothing else, you'll be able to play a role in saving your own life.
You know, Sheriff, you know, law and order and these type of issues are going to be front and center. Donald Trump has said it's time to get tough. It's time to support our law enforcement. Then you see these developments in Charlotte and Tulsa, and I'm sure Hillary Clinton, others will say it gives people pause. How do you reassure people that to get tough means you're getting tough and fair with everybody?
Well, first of all, we got to get more patriot-type, law-abiding Americans involved in this. That's the way policing was meant to work, a cooperative effort between the citizenry, law-abiding citizenry, and the police to beat back the criminal and to fight crime. So, again, you know, they're going to have to play a role. It's not going to be for everybody. I get that. But there are certain people in the United States, former military, former law enforcement officers, current military, current law enforcement officers that can play a role on behalf of the people who don't feel real comfortable doing this sort of thing. But what's going on in Charlotte and other areas is really, you know, these attacks on cops, Neil. This is an attack on the rule of law. This is a George Soros-funded anarchist effort, and we have to rid ourselves of this naive view that it's anything but. This is not about protest. It's not about inequality. It's not about any of those things. This is a George Soros-funded assault on American traditional American values and Western culture. And until we wake out of that slumber.
Seriously, sir, I don't know in the beginning, on the first night, whether that was George Soros inspired. I don't know what's happened since. But there are a lot of people who are seizing on this, and they're saying that whatever you think of what happened, whether, you know, there was a gun involved in the shooting that prompted all of this, that the Charlotte police are holding back and getting mixed signals, and that's why the rioting has ensued. Where do you draw the line between the people's right to protest and the people's right in that area just to go about their daily lives? I had Jesse Jackson here the other day who said he could understand the violence and the looting. He could understand that. That's part of their right. What did you make of that?
Well, it's not part of their right. Look, here's where I draw the line, Neil. When the rocks and bottles, the first rock, the first brick, the first bottle that's thrown at a law enforcement officer, all bets are off. And then all reasonable force, I didn't say any force, all reasonable force has to be used to maintain law and order, the order of the community, the protection of businesses, and the safety of the law enforcement officers on the scene. And it has to be assertive. Look, we know how to do this, but these cops on the front line, in fairness to them, I'm not being critical of them. I'm being critical of the orders they're getting from up above to soft shoe this thing, to you know, hold the line, so to speak, as they're getting pelted with bricks and rocks. I heard that 16 law enforcement officers have been injured, probably some other innocent citizens were injured too. That's beyond protesting in America. Dr. Martin Luther King knew how to do it. Okay, he didn't bring people that had bricks and rocks a stoning of the police and looting of businesses and rioting. He didn't do it, and he made more social change doing it his way, the way all Americans got behind him. After seeing King said, yeah, we got to do something here, peaceful protest. And the entire country got behind King to affect social change. The entire country right now, they're against this crap that's going on now.
Sure. Thank you very, very much. On a busy news day, we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Neil.
All right.